Alright, so I disassembled the tongue from the trailer, right? And what do we got here? What am I looking for? I had to take off the jack, which was 2 bolts. And then I had two 3/4 nut size, so I reckon they're 1/2 inch bolts through the brace supports. And it was just bolted in. The old tongue was just bolted in. Now, here's what I got. You see this channel right here is at the top, at this end, is 2¼ inches wide at the top, and it's just barely 2 inches wide at the bottom. At the front up here, it is 2 and just over 3/8 inches wide, and at the top, and it's 2 and 1/8 inches at the bottom down here. Right here, it's 2 and 1/8 inches wide right there. On top of that, they're cross braces. Let's see, can you see that big old gap? You see all that buckshot welding? And then, I don't even know what you would call this. It almost looks like caulk in there. And this one's a little more decent, but this one just looks like caulk. But they have it sticking out here 1/2 inch on each side, whereas one would think that if they had attached it to this frame correctly, that it wouldn't be like that. Same thing here. So I got to make the executive decision, and I think my executive decision is to go in here and cut these off. And I got to weld on this side, a weld on that side, weld on that side, weld on this side. Cut these off, grind them smooth, and go and put those back in here straight. And while I'm at it, I'll cut my rail right here. Or honestly, what I could do is I could leave these right here, but because the gap is so big, it's a 1/4 inch gap from here to the post, or the new trailer tongue, which is laying on the ground. I might have a little problem with that, right? So what would I do? I was going to cut through there. I was getting ready to show you. I was going to take the angle grinder and just cut down beside them on each side here and go back. But the gap is so large that it would be all filler in between there if I just slammed it up against it. And I don't like the way that thing is sitting up on there. And that is like 2-inch angle iron. But it's only, it's not 3/16. It's like 1/8 angle iron. So it's not exactly the strongest thing in the world to begin with. So what I'm thinking is I'll cut it off here, fix it up, put it in there, and while I'm there, I'll cut my center line out. This tubing is exactly 2 inches wide, so if I go to 2 and like 1/16, we'll be good to go, right? So I cut that out 2 inches, cut those off. Now the unfortunate thing is, the guy who did welded in the grating did a horrible job. He blew through half of them, and I got to cut those off in order to get this thing free. Now, if anything serves me correctly, they look bad, but he cut them in half when he welded them on there. So I might be able to just chisel them and get them to pop off. I don't know. We're going to see. So anyhow, I got to fix that. That doesn't look good to me. And then I'm going to take that tube and go right there, and then to right there. And that's the hope of everything. Now, my dad said just weld it up, and he still wanted me to put a bolt in it. And he said, I still want bolts in it. So, this makes me nervous because this is going to be on the highway, and I don't want to risk anybody else's life with it. But I'm fairly confident in my skills that I can weld better than what is on here already. So hopefully we're good to go. By the way, you remember the disaster with the saw where the bench collapsed and broke my headphones. So I bought myself a new set of headphones. These are 3M Peltor X5As. I'm going to try those out. That's my first. Actually, I had a set of these when I was real little. And, well, my dad let me use his, and they weren't X5As, but they were Peltor, and they had the huge cups like this. And, well, they're my dad's. So, needless to say, I got those. And while I was at it, since my safety glasses were on that table that day as well and are just scuffed beyond belief because they're 8 years old, I got myself a new pair of 3M safety glasses. I forgot what they're called. Whatever. So, we got our equipment. What are we going to do next? I don't know. I got to sit here and take measurements before I do anything further, and we're going to mark everything out, make sure we know where we're working at. All right, I'll be back.